Hello children, now we are moving on to the second lesson of class 8 the English textbook Honeydew. The lesson is a poem by the name The Ant and the Cricket. Okay, this poem is adapted from Aesop's fable. Now I'll just read the introduction that is given there in the poem. A fable is a story with animals and characters that conveys a moral. This poem is about an ant and a cricket, contains an idea of far-reaching significance, which is true of a four-legged cricket as of a two-legged. Surely you have seen a cricket that has two legs. So now here the poet is asking us whether we have seen a cricket with two legs. Now, who does he refer to a cricket of two legs? Now, we all know a cricket is an insect, and that insect happens to be having four legs. But he is asking us a question that do we know a two-legged cricket? Now, who is this two-legged cricket? That is for you to ponder about and think and find the answer. So now I will read out the poem, and after reading out the poem, I will give you a detailed explanation of this poem. Now the poem goes like this. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm, sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and the winter was come. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground, not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. Oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? At last, by starvation and famine made bold, all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set off to a miserly ant, to see if, to keep him alive, he would grant him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain. He wished only to borrow, he'd repay it tomorrow, if not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. Says the ant to the cricket, I'm your servant and friend, but we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? Quoth the cricket, not I. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay. You sang, sir, you say? Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket, and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Fox, call this a fable, I'll warrant it true. Some crickets have four legs and some have two. So this is how the poem goes with. Now I'll just give you a brief introduction of the poems, and then I will go into the detailed explanation of this poem. Now this poem is actually a story which conveys to us a moral. And this is, adapted from Aesop's fable. Now, Aesop is none other but a Greek poet. Okay, Aesop is a Greek poet. So now here I will just tell you a little information, and then I will go into the detailed explanation of this. The poem is a work of the famous Greek poet Aesop. Then the ant and the cricket is nothing but a fable in the form of a story which actually conveys to us a moral. The moral is something that we learn after hearing the story or after listening to the poetry. Now there are only two characters in this poem, that is the cricket and the ant. Now in this story is nothing all but about the desperate and silly cricket and a miserly ant. Now I'll go in for the explanation of the poem in detail. I will go not stanza by stanza. I will be taking two stanzas, and before I start the explanation of the stanza, I will be telling you which stanza I am talking. I am starting with stanza 1 and 2. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground, not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. Oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? So now the explanation of the first two stanzas. Now here we come to know that there was a young cricket who used to sing and dance during the summers and the spring. During these seasons, it was, greenery everywhere, and because there was greenery, there was ample food and water available. So, when ample food and water is available, one tends to think that there is no need to store any of these things that are available in abundance. Thus, the cricket was busy enjoying and did not store any food for the winters. In the winters, the ground was covered with snow and no flower or leaf could be seen. When the winters came, the cricket was now in trouble because there was not any morsel of food available, not a crumb was available in his house to eat, and so he was now on the brink of starvation. He was starving. Somehow he gathered up courage and went seeking help, and he went to get the help of his so-called friend, the ant. Okay, so that is what it is all about in stanza 1 and 2. Now, in stanza 3 and 4, at last by starvation and famine made bold, all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set to a miserly ant to see if, to keep him alive, he would grant him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain. He wished only to borrow, he'll repay it tomorrow. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. So then this cricket this young cricket, or the silly cricket, who was enjoying himself to the who was enjoying himself thoroughly during the months of the summer and spring, now came the winter season and he was caught unawares. He was unprepared. He did not have anything at all in his home, and due to starvation and chilly cold climate and the rains, the cricket was all wet and he was shivering with cold. So he went very, very shamelessly to his friend's house, the miserly ant, and he requested the ant to give him some food and shelter in his house, else if his so-called friend would not provide him with food and shelter, then there was no other option but he would die of hunger and sorrow. And so he says that it is just he's come seeking temporary help. He had only come to borrow, and he assured him that when things get better, he is definitely going to repay him back. Okay, so that is the explanation of the stanzas 3 and 4. Now moving on to page 22, I will be doing the remaining 3 stanzas together. Says the ant to the cricket, I'm your servant and friend, but we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. Tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? Quoth the cricket, not I. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay. You sang, sir, you say? Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Folks call this a fable. I'll warrant it true. Some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. So now for the explanation of the last 3 stanzas. Now the ant told the cricket that he thinks itself to be his servant as well as his friend. Okay, so the ant says that yes, I am your friend, I am your servant. But we ants have a policy. We ants have a rule that we strictly follow, that we do not borrow and nor do we lend to anyone. This is a policy that we strictly follow. He also inquired from the cricket that why he did not gather any food during the spring and the summer season. So the cricket replies saying that he did not care much about the future and he was so very happy with the summer and the spring seasons that he was enjoying himself thoroughly during these 2 seasons. He thought that food and water was in abundance, so it was not necessary for him to be collecting and storing food. While the cricket, but at the same time, what was happening was, while the cricket was busy enjoying himself, the poor little miserly ant was storing food for the winter season. The ant was thus annoyed with this attitude of the cricket, and so he goes on and tells her that way that he should pass the winter also singing and dancing, just as how he passed his days during the summer season. The ant thus quickly puts the conversation to an end and pushed him out of his house. So what we understand is from this lesson is that the poet concludes by saying that he thinks that this story is really very, very true. It teaches us a lesson. And he says that there are many human beings who do not care about the future. Thus, because of their don't care attitude, these are the ones who then repent when the time is gone. So here the poet says that, the Aesop says that one shouldn't be like the 4-legged cricket, and he says the same is also there. The same type of category also happens to be there among the 2-legged people also. Now, who are these 2-legged creatures? The 2-legged creatures is none other but the common man, who when he has a lot, he just spends or whiles away his time enjoying and celebrating and wasting himself doing unwanted and unnecessary things, and then when he faces hard times, he just runs around seeking help from others. And of course, it is the duty of everybody to help others in need, but then not everybody has a helping mentality. So that is this one lesson. So the poet Aesop comes to a conclusion that we should not behave like the cricket. We should always prepare for the future so that in difficult times we do not have to beg to others for help. We should be helpful to others, unlike the selfish ant. So when it is there within our means to help others, we should come forward and help others, but not be like the selfish ant. But it doesn't mean that because there is always somebody to help us, we shouldn't be like the cricket who just whiles away the time hoping that somebody is there out there always to lend a helping hand. We should always be prepared for the future. we should set aside something for a rainy day, in the sense that when difficult times comes upon us, we should be ready to face such circumstances also. So with this, I come to the end of the explanation of this poem. I hope, children, everything is clear. If not, the doubts can be cleared in our Google Meet. Okay, thank you, children. Goodbye.